I am disabling my mic. I'm gonna give you a very short intro, guys. There were some technical difficulties. Actually, we are doing the community casting for the RushB LFO up against Hunters LFO at this point of time. Whoever wins it goes to the last chance qualifiers from this particular matchup. Actually, we cannot provide the caster's face cam due to some reasons, but yes, to take through this whole matchup and this whole three maps, it's going to be the golden voices of the Rainbow Six SA community, Mr. Baba, Gusta, and Mr. Blackjack. Please take it away.
All right.
All
Hopefully,
right.
you guys can hear my voice. Jack, how you been, man?
It
All good?
has been a while, ladies and gentlemen. Hello.
Yep.
And alrighty then, it's been a while since I've gotten to say that, but we do hope you're having a fantastic evening or afternoon, morning, whenever you're watching this, wherever you're watching this from. I'm your host, Blackjack. Joining me, of course, is my co-host, Baba Gusta, and of course, Bullet the Crazy Gamer. Thank you for hosting us on this stream as we are here for what is actually a very, very important match. Baba, I think I'll let you do the intros to this particular game.
Oh man, where do I begin? Where do I begin? You know what? Let's take a memory down lane towards 2020 August Majors 2020. You know, I kind of butchered it up. All right, I'm just gonna. You know what? I think I need to say it with feeling. All right, because I kid you not. This whole rivalry between RushB and Hunters LFO, it is worth to talk a story about. So, dating back to 6 August Majors 2020, we did get to see, we did get to see Union Gaming, aka Hunters LFO at that time. Wait, did I just messed it up? Hunters LFO, back then they were Union Gaming. They had
Yes.
secured 275 SI points and they secured first place in 2020, which means that if they need a spot on the 6 invitationals, then they had to win another major in November 2020 in order to secure a spot. But at that time, MRCZ was also looking to, make sure that it doesn't happen. So what happened on November 2020? MRCZ successfully closed the gates of Hunters LFO, denying them access and also making sure that they have, that they still have a lot to learn about the game. I mean, at this point, there was a chance, right, for Hunters to get into the scene. And then suddenly, MRCZ, now currently known as RushB right now, for now, RushB just gave a hell of a fight. Now, even if you take a way, even if you talk about the SA Nationals back then, RushB and Hunters LFO both have like huge rivalries, man. And once again, talk about Hunters LFO's major defeat up against Shaheen's 7-1, right? 7-1 on map border forced Hunters LFO to go all the way downstairs to fight against RushB. And guess what? They need to fight this. They have to fight it. They have no other choice because this is the same team that they had lost in the November's majors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're in the same situation here. They could close the gates and let RushB be, have a spot towards LCQ, or they could get their revenge.
Well, for now, I'm fairly certain for both of these teams that LCQ spot is what matters the most. That is correct, folks. You did hear that correctly, as is to say. The winner of this match will go on to the finals, of course, of the South Asian Open qualifiers. But more importantly, they will become one of the two teams that are set to go into the Asian qualifiers, the Blastar 6 Asia qualifiers. LCQs, you get the whole point. There's a bunch of names attached to it. Basically, they move on to the next stage of the competition, fighting not just, of course, home teams, whoever will be the winner of the other game that is going to be played off stream, of course. Won't Stop Peaking versus Stack, I do believe that game is.
Yep.
And one of those two teams go forward to the LCQ as the third team from South Asia. And I say third because Shaheen's, they were the ones to win the closed qualifiers of South Asia. They are already there waiting for a couple other teams from home to reach the LCQ. So, one of these two teams, RushB or Hunters LFO, Stack or Won't Stop Peaking, and then of course you have Shaheen's, they have a chance to fight against teams in SEA, the wider Southeast Asia region, and through those LCQs, the top two teams will make it to the major. It is a big, big thing, a huge thing for that matter, for all of the players in this region. And I really do hope for a fantastic game. I mean, I say we hope for a fantastic game. It's gonna be a fantastic game. I think we can all agree on that one because it's just, I mean, just like Baba said, these two teams, they have a history and they always have a
Huge
point to
history, man.
prove against each other. So you never know what you're going to get when it's these two teams taking the center stage. And with the, with the stakes as high as they are right now, yeah, I'm certain that they're going to be giving it their absolute all.
And let's not forget, they Rush B and Hunters LFO, both teams had a lot of rosters being changed, right? We
Oh,
had
yes.
Maker back then in Rush B. Maker has been switched off to Den, who's been excellent when it comes to being as the frag potential. We've seen Den make some impressive plays. I mean, when it comes to providing support for the fraggers, it's usually Den who does the aggressive approach. He gets the job done. He provides useful info for Rush B, and they'll just play to it accordingly. And then on the side of Hunters LFO, recently, instead of Sparko, he's been swapped out to Silence. So Sparko currently is playing in Gamer Syndicate. So he's currently playing from that team. So instead, it will be Silence playing on the side of Hunters LFO. Sandy, Rattler, and Beat. It's always the usual. Jittery has always been the leader for the side of Hunters LFO. They are one heck of a team. I'll give you that. But there's been some major drawbacks that's making me worry a lot. Especially the match that I was talking about, Shaheens
Mhm.
versus Hunters 7-1. I did not expect that 7-1 to happen, Jack, because
Oh, yeah.
on a map like Border, where Hunters LFO were just so dominating on Nationals. Last time I remember, they had a deployable shield on East Stairs. They were just playing as calm as possible. They just dominated Kira Esports. And next thing you know, they just got 7-1 by Shaheens. At that point, I did not expect it to see this outcome. And Shaheens, I have to give credit where it's due. They outplayed the teams. They played it smart. They definitely got in the nerves of Hunters LFO. And that's the main reason why you see Shaheens already claiming the spot on the LCQ, where they have to go up against Bleed, Elevate, Direwolves. And also, we still need to wait for the second playoffs, right? From both of the teams in SEA qualifiers. We just have to wait for that to happen. And also, guys, make sure to check out the Twitch streams, Rainbow Six Bravo. Every
Mhm.
single matches have been streamed live. Make sure to go ahead and check it out. But for now, folks, we just have to wait and watch. RushB, we're just still waiting for, I believe we're waiting for
No,
Hasib,
we're
Din,
actually
Ayan.
we're
No?
waiting for one of Hunter's players to join. Taha is
Oh yeah,
still
Taha.
in the, yes.
Jittery, we're
Taha
waiting for
hasn't
Jittery.
switched. Yeah,
Yes,
we're
we're
waiting
waiting
for
for
Jittery.
Jittery. Yeah,
Yes.
I still made a tweet about Jittery because, I've seen Jittery's performance as a frag potential. I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is such a talented player in India. And seeing Jittery being such a sad mood, knowing that they've lost that 7-1 match point. Let's not forget, both Shaheens and Hunters LFO were undefeated, right? They were
Mhm.
undefeated, 6-0, 6-0. The only
Yeah.
one match that they had lost was Shaheens, and they just lost the spot. And now, if I talk about Hunters or Rush B, at this point, I'm sorry, folks, I cannot make a prediction like this. Sure, I made good predictions on SA Nationals. I did say 3-1. It did work out. But let me tell you something. This is a match where I cannot expect. This could go all the way to map 3. Hunters know the risk. So does Rush B. Both of them knows what the risk is. They want to have a spot on LCQ. They want to show what SA is capable of, and they're doing it right now. And this match, that's the main reason why many people in South Asia wants to watch this match, because it's a historical one, Jack. It is a
Mhm.
historical one. Out of
Mhm.
all the matches that we've seen, out of all the rivalries that we witnessed in South Asia, back then, I believe in the Hyderabad event, while I was casting alongside with Jack and Scar. Sorry, not Jack. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
Foxy and Scar Dolphin. I still remember.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I'm just going to interject here.
Mhm.
Unfortunately for those watching, that LAN I did not cast. I mean, I'm
Yep.
sure everybody remembers, but I wasn't actually
Mhm.
there. I came onto the scene later. But that
Yep.
LAN, it really was a historic one. I mean, the results and everything that's happened since they speak for themselves. But sorry for interjecting, Baba. I'll let you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
back to
It's all right. It's all
story
right.
time.
Yeah. I know we have a lot of time, but I definitely have to talk about this because many people in the SA region don't exactly know the history between both RushB and Hunters LFO, right? Hasib has always been a dominant player, really great leader, good at anchoring sites, provides good information. MI7, the main reason why I call him the king of clutches is because whenever I see a 2vx situation, MI7 just delivers it. He delivers the clutch. And Hunters LFO, I'm pretty sure that they will make any single strategies that they have in their mind and they have to dump it right here, right now, because it is now or never. LCQ, if they want to have a spot on the LCQ, they have to win this. And this is best of three. And like we take a look at the Ubisoft Connect, Jittery has just opened up Rainbow Six Siege. So we just have to wait for him to connect and we just have to wait to rock and roll, boys.
Oh
Boys,
yeah, I
I'm not
mean,
quite sure. Yeah, my
yeah.
English is just mixed up a little bit. So yeah, don't mind me on
Yeah,
that.
don't worry about it. But for now, folks, yes, just like Baba said, Jittery is on his way. He is the last player we're waiting on in the lobby right now. And once he gets in, once we get confirmation that both teams are ready, we'll be going right in to the match. And again, like Baba said, like we have stressed time and time again, we are absolutely excited for this game. It is a hell of a game. One to absolutely watch if you're at home and, whatever you're doing, put it down. Whatever you're doing, put it down, stop it, pause it, whatever, leave it for later. Uh, we can, of course, get back to whatever else we were doing right now. Let us get into this particular game. And I'll tell you what, I've stressed it before, I'll stress it again. This game, this match, it means a lot, given everything. Now with the whole, Blast coming into the fold of Rainbow Six Esports and taking over, and basically completely shifting the circuit, shifting up what was otherwise the old way for South Asian teams to play. I mean, the nationals and stuff were great, right? And the tournaments we got leading up to the nationals, they were great as well. But Blast has come in and revitalized the scene to a certain extent, I do feel like. And it has certainly given us a lot more to watch out for, a lot more to keep our eyes on. And, just like Baba pointed out earlier, the fact that right now Hunters are playing without Sparko. Sparko has shifted teams. He is now in Gamer Syndicate. Silence has become a mainstay for Hunters LFO, which has, in and of itself, given Hunters something to work on, given that Silence is, after all, a newer player to their roster. But as time moves on, they will gel together, and the Hunters we know, with a bit of a difference as compared to how they were before, will once again rise to dominate the scene. I mean, they already are, aren't they? It was only
Yeah.
Shaheens who were able to stop them in their tracks, and that too, right at the very end of the closed qualifiers. Otherwise, Hunters were having a hell of a time. RushB, not so much at the very beginning. Maybe stage one hasn't quite been the best stage in terms of their starting matches, but they now, of course, only need to win this game, against their greatest opponents, some might say, their biggest rivals, and they will be in the LCQs. So, with that said, folks, the
Whew.
ground rules are set and all the players are in. As soon as we get the ready confirmation, we are going to be going right in. We just have to wait for it just a little bit. The teams, again, this is a big match. We keep stressing this, but we can't stress it enough. This is a huge, huge match for both teams. The winner goes to LCQ. They get to play international teams. They get to play on a bigger stage with bigger stakes. Everything, it's like it's
Mhm.
almost unprecedented
At this time,
for
at
South
this
Asia,
time,
right?
sorry to cut you out. I just want to jump in. I love the
Yes.
way ये दोनों हमारे जो golden voices हैं from our South Asia community describe the Yadov ki barat. But I just want to say, whoever wins it, man, I really wish you guys all the best for the majors. I mean,
Yep.
you guys winning at majors, even being in the top three, makes it like कि पूरा scene change हो जाएगा. Trust me, for Rainbow Six South Asia, whoever wins it, I wish both the teams very very best. We know for a fact that even RushB is looking for orgs right now. Even Hunters
Yes.
LFO are looking for orgs right now. This is the moment that can they can captivate and just go on and perform so good at majors. Like everyone will be stunned down at this point of time. जो भी Rainbow Six पे अभी तक sleeping कर रहे हैं. तो I wish both the teams very best, and even right now my hands are shaking in when I'm trying to hold my controller to spectate. I know this is going to be pure entertainment, pure action for all of the guys, join to our stream. And good luck to both the teams, man. Carry on.
Yep.
All right. Yep. But, that is actually true. Both
Mhm.
these teams are looking for org, and that is something that, what we should point out a little bit. Everyone should take note. Both of these teams, fantastic players, are currently orgless. So they, any organizations that might come across them in the future matches, even in this particular match, take note because there is some serious talent in here that you might want to keep your eyes on. But yeah, with all that said, folks, we've had a long history. We've had the whole,
Mhm.
you know,
Now
we've
I just have to
had our
close
trip
the
down
book
memory
and just keep
lane.
it in the
Yeah.
library for now.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm But for now, again, just
Yep.
waiting to get started. I think we're about to get started in just a couple of seconds here.
Mhm.
Not too certain. I think the teams are giving us a ready. Yep. We do see the ready from RushB. We do see the ready from Jittery over there. So I guess we're going to start in just a moment.
Oh boy.
And
There we go.
folks, there it is.
There
The
it
match
is.
has started. So with all that said, without further ado, let us get into this, folks. Right here, right now. We are starting on map 1. It is Bank with RushB LFO taking on Hunters LFO. The first bans of the night are now underway. And I'll tell you what, I like, of course, close qualifiers had their whole map pool, and everybody played a lot of different maps, all that stuff, right? Open calls has had that as well. But for me and Baba over here, it has been a hot minute since we've casted Bank, and I am
Mhm.
very excited to be back here. Osa is going to be the first one to bite the dust as Hunters get that first ban off.
Yeah, also very strong operator when it comes to challenging those choke angles, especially from stock window and maybe from the
Ooh.
stairways. But yeah, Hibana ban, very powerful if they do tend to open up the hatches on basement side. So one hard breacher ban and one Osa ban, which means that you still have Jackal being in play. You still have a lot of other operators on attack which could help them. But looks like we could see that hunters are more likely going in for trap operators. So Capcan is still available. They can use some traps. They can heavily rely on Valkyrie camps, but it's always, I mean, it just depends on what hunters will play on defense. So relies on this one last ban, and it will be Kaid. So they will they won't be having any problems in opening up lines of sight. What matters the most is once they enter into a site, they need as much as info as possible to zone down those particular defenders, ensure that they cannot, reposition with proper crossfire angles or perfect line of sights, and then just remove players one by one. So, with the help of the hard breacher and the anti-denial breachers, both Kaid and Hibana being out of the play, oh boy, we just cannot wait to see what both RushB and Hunters have got in stores for us. Round number 1, basement is the site. Jack,
Mm-hmm.
it's I've got to admit, this is actually getting emotional for me. It's been how many years? It's been
It
around.
has been. It
It has
has been
been
quite a few
3 to 4
months.
years,
Yes,
right? It's been around
and
3 to 4
yes.
years, and looking at South Asia finally getting recognition from Blast just really brings a tear to my eyes, man. I just have to say a huge thanks for Blast for giving South Asia the opportunity that they wanted, and I feel so happy that both all the teams, Shaheens, Hunters, RushB, Won't Stop Peaking, and Stack, they are getting the recognition they deserve, and they'll definitely work hard, perform well, and we're gonna see that right now in round number 1 itself. Action phase is opened. Hunters LFO on defense. Let's see what RushB has in store for us.
Speaking of the teams, we didn't actually call out the members of the teams like we normally do, but let's get to it, shall we? From the side of Hunters LFO, we have Silent, Sandy, Rattler, Beat, and Jittery. And from the side of RushB, we have Hasib, Din, Ayan, MI7, and Taha. Site is Basement Lockers to start us off on the map of Bank. And we're already on the roam clear from RushB. No time wasted, but wait a minute, they might have to, as Sandy has taken the opening gambit here. That is going to be the Iana, more importantly Taha, to fall as the opening kill of this round.
Yep, important opening pick, falls back to safety. No trade's been done from RushB, so this is very crucial because Taha is supposed to be the one who has to do all those, how can I kill this, those initial picks. Now, with Taha being out of the board, it's all down to Hasib who needs to recover this round. They have multiple. They have good amount of information. They have bulletproof cams. They even have the yokai drones to give them as much information that they need for those denials. But they still need the second floor control. Ayan just beautifully done to make sure that Sandy wouldn't cause much more chaos on the roam games. But when it comes to the consequences, Taha's been removed out. Ayan is 20 HP, and with the loss of only Sandy, Hunters LFO, they can just casually stay inside. Let them do all the breach stuff. They just have to deny plan. That's all they have to do. And Hunters, they'll patiently wait for it.
That they will. Here comes the breach on the hatch here in Janitor's Closet, looking right down to sight. At a little angle there, but there is a defender in open area. Another opening made into that admin office wall as the drones are slowly coming in. The roamer is about to face, well, pretty much the fury of the entire enemy team coming their way, unless they've all fallen back. That seems to have been the case. Yes, MI7 is an admin. Nobody is in there. All the defenders have fallen back to the site. They've wasted as much time as possible. Even an opening kill for both sides has been taken. Ion is low, very low in fact, on HP, but the Ying survives. That's what really matters here, because those Candelas are going to be mighty, mighty important. I think they're about to just go off in a minute here. Yep, there you have them. 1, 2, all the Candelas, all on the red corridor, but the actual drop is on the elevator hatch. Coming down into vault, this could be huge for the side of RushB. They're inside of the vault, but MI7 falls. Silence gets the first one. Gas grenades by Rattler, but Din finds his mark, only to get taken down by Jittery. The echo coming in from main stairs. There goes Ayan. Only Hasib, now the last one standing, coming out of vault into the back lobby here. The smoke's pushing and beat. Finish off the final kill. An attempt at a misdirection play here from the side of the attackers. Unfortunately for RushB, Hunters read into that. They stayed away from vault. They stayed away even from red hallway to a degree. They kept themselves in gold vault, right? Just that little connector gold vault between red hallway and the main vault itself. They stayed there. Candelas were done. Capitao had used up whatever utility he had. And within seconds, RushB found themselves in a box with no way out.
Yep. And we all know who to thank for. Sandy with the initial frag. Shutting down Taha immediately at the early round gave Hunters LFO a lot of fighting chance to just stay inside. I mean, at this point in the whole first round, it was only Sandy who did all the roam games. He just let the rest of the 4 players just stay inside, play accordingly with info. A lot of damage already been done by, decreasing Din's HP, removing Taha out of the play. Then, you don't have to worry about grenades. The deployable shield will still be present. They have tons of information. Now, RushB could make a decision to bring in IQ that could at least help them detect those important utilities and destroy those info camps as best as possible, because information is king in a game of Rainbow Six Siege, and Hunters LFO, they are utilizing it to perfection. Once again, aggressive attempts from Jittery, but this time he'll be met with heavy resistance. RushB knows that they have to get this trade no matter what, so they'll just they'll just push in as a squad. They're not going to push in individually. So they'll be very careful. They'll be checking out every single windows, and they have to make sure that Sandy wouldn't make that initial frag as they did. So let's not forget, the site is on 2nd floor CEO office, and which means that there will be a lot of crossfire angles being set up from the rappel. Main entrance should be their biggest concerns, because you actually have that one line of sight where you can just take out the roamers by just not giving away your position easily. So they need to have that main lobby information from the drones, and everything should be good. And that's exactly why you get to see those yokai drones from Rattler just giving important information, so that either Sandy or Jittery could get those important kills. There you go. One will be given. Rattler knows that one information, and the Ace Summer Breach charges will be used to open up that important line of sight. That's an entire hallway being locked out, and Silence somehow gets to take out Taha. This is very frightening for RushB, because this is the second time that Taha has been removed.
Twice as the first kill taken against them. RushB cannot afford to keep losing Taha like this, and Taha, of course, cannot afford to keep going down. Oh, dear me, Din! The disconnect right there. That'll probably result in a pause at the very least going into the next round, but we'll get to that when we get to that, folks. Right now, let's continue the round. MI7 Ayan and Hasib have to try and pull this one back. Beautiful shot from MI7. Sandy will fall. That's your Azami taken care of. Very important to take care of that operator, mind you, the utility that she brings is very, very hard to combat. But Silence is still active in the map. So is Jittery and Beat. And Rattler, of course, the Echo, ever so important. Jittery, speaking of, gets another. That's Hasib elsewhere on the map as the Jaeger finds one. Jittery goes down to Aeon. A trade is taken. 2v3. Not the most impossible or hardest situation in the world for the side of RushB to be in. They've done better from worse situations as we have a firebolt going off from MI7, the Capital, leading the way in from the rappel. Ayan trying to come up the main stairs, actually. Gone 6, caught by the ADS, Beat with a C4, ready in hand. Mid stairs is about to be a bloodbath. If Ayan manages more than one kill here, sends a Selma as a distraction, but the camera has seen him. He's gone into the hallway, barely survives it, almost catches the Echo. Actually, he does, but Rattler finds Ayan. MI7 found Silence in the meanwhile, but MI7 has to find the Echo. Yes, he does. 1v1. There's only 9 seconds remaining. He's going out into the hallway, coming back towards Janitor, but no, the Beat, is in the hallway. He's prone. MI7 doesn't have the diffuser, and time will run its course. The ultimate defender at the end of the day. Time will be what gives the win to the side of the Hunters on second floor. Really, really good attempt in that 2v3 there from the side of RushB, but unfortunately, they simply could not recover from the situation they'd found themselves in.
Even though it was a 2v4 situation, that could have went in the favor for RushB immediately. That is how dangerous MI7 is. Even though he just plays as a support role as the Capitao, his gunfights to secure those kills and recovering in any 2vx situation clearly shows how powerful MI7 is and how much of an important a player is for Team RushB. So Hunters LFO, they're playing it very safe. They had to be very careful on this, and Mute, by the time he realized that time is of the essence, he just had to play it accordingly to time. Well played from Hunters LFO. They kept their calm, they kept their cool, they had a lot of information. And that's the main thing that I'm very much worried about. RushB, they are going in blindly, even though they have the attack drones that can give them vital information. Those yokai drones are the main reason why they're getting half the information, especially in the mid rounds. And let's not forget about Castle's bulletproof cam. Those bulletproof cams are just so deadly. It is very dangerous. They have to be careful around that. And I believe one of the bulletproof cams was just used in those long hallways towards Banana. That is where they have the entire info. That is where one of the bulletproof cams will be. So, since Castle will be always picked, RushB, they know that the castle has been picked. They will know that, the bulletproof cams will be placed. They will play accordingly with info. Now, the only solution to this is once again IQ. Now, the main reason why we don't see RushB picking IQ is that when it comes to executing site, throwing smokes, and using those hard breaches, it is still necessary to have a specific operator that can help provide those angles. So you don't get to see IQ being played a lot, especially in the South Asia region. But if you want to counter it, there is still an option, RushB. You could still go for it. But the amount of practice and experience that they're still sticking with that one simple strategy, although it could help them secure a lot of wins, but you still got to be it's better to just adapt things a bit or two. For now, we're just waiting for then to come back to the lobby so that we can proceed to round number 3. But yeah, we just have to once again wait for then I'm pretty sure he had his crash. Maybe it's either a crash or a net issue that had happened, but he's currently in game. We just have to wait for his invite to come back, and once it's done, we'll be able to resume back to round number 3. The site will be on staff room and open area.
This is one thing I really love about competitive Siege on Bank. A lot of people play open area. A lot of teams play open area, right, on Bank competitively, which is a far cry from what you normally see when it comes to this map, right? Because when you're playing this map just normally in like casual or ranked or whatever, open area is like largely ignored. And even in ranked, you're not going to go here all that often, at least in my experience, right? Now, I could be wrong, which let's be real here, I often am. Yeah, a lot of people, at least in my experience, go with the teller's option, right?
Yeah.
It just seems better, right? Less walls to really reinforce or watch out for. You have a bigger room, longer line of sight, uh, more areas and indestructible props to hide behind, so on and so forth. You get the point, right?
Yeah.
There's ways to really maneuver inside the site. Whereas with open area, sure, it's got a lot of props and stuff, but most of them are destructible. You can get shot through them, and it's not the best for your reinforcement economy as well. Most of the time you'll find yourself extending into, tellers and office anyway, tellers and archives. So most people think, okay, let's just go into tellers and archives anyway. Why not, right? But with that said, folks, it seems Din has returned, gone into that thermite pick, and we are moving into round number 3 on first floor, open area, and kitchen. I do believe it's actually called kitchen, right? Still, it used to be before
Yeah.
the map buff of bank, so
Yeah.
that's what I call it still. But regardless of all that, got a castle in play from Hunters. We've got the Azami. Azami, I just love how she's become like this mainstay operator, Everybody plays Azami, which is wonderful in my opinion. She has become a game changer ever since launch for that matter. And, well, that's great if you ask me. Of course, you've got the Melusi, you've got the not the Mozzie, I need the Mute in play. I'm so used to saying Mute Mozzie sometimes, especially when it comes to bank. But actually, that is an interesting question because Mute Mozzie don't get played all that often in bank, right? But
Yep.
they do sometimes, sometimes not. Anyhow, speculative operator picks aside, I am seeing a gridlock from MI7. Now, from what I can tell, yeah, Nomad is available to be played. So gridlock probably has been picked for a specific option here. And what I'm thinking is the secondary EMP grenades is why she's in this roster. Nomad doesn't have those. And Gridlock offers that, so you have her track stingers, which can offer similar utility to what. Oh dear, a little bit of a friendly fire right there, Jittery. I mean, he's fine. Instead of what 125 health, 110 health, he'll have like
I
100
mean,
health.
it's just a shotgun shell. What
Tis a
could,
flesh
could it happen? It's
Tis
just
only a flesh wound, yeah.
yeah. It's not that big of a problem. But I mean, it's a secondary shotgun. It doesn't deal that much damage. But not to worry about Jittery. He's fine. He knows the risk. He knows what he needs to be careful about. As because especially in action phase, if you just wait for the rotates to happen, the attackers would just come into the site very quickly, and you need to be attentive and careful. So, Hunters LFO, this site on first floor, they've been you could say Hunters LFO have mastered this site, especially in the South Asia region. They have sometimes they would secure this specific site, and sometimes they do not. It's just that one simple mistake that would cost the entire round, and RushB is just trying to find that one specific mistake. Taha, on the other hand, bringing in the Montaigne. The only thing that he could do is just give information, but turns out Jittery's been dealing much more damage, but he still have beat for the help. Securing the kill, Ayan goes out, and Taha, he's not gonna, he won't be the one who gets picked off quite early. It will be Ayan's this time. So if you talk about Hunters LFO, they are denying fraggers very quickly, and that is looking good. Early pick still at the hands of Hunters. Denial from impacts. Will that work? Silence. Will it connect? No, it does not. Breach will be made. Silence gets away to safety. Will stay back from the site and wait for the attackers to make their push.
One by one, these attackers have to fall into the site. They have to get control somehow. But with a player, a defender, still inside of Teller's archive, and probably someone going for a late flank, late rotate upstairs, it is very possible, given that Hunters have all 5 players alive. Oh, actually, Rattler's gone below. He might come up blue. That could be a surprise play. Sandy is also above, directly above Din, though Sandy doesn't know it right now. And it just seems like RushB, while they have this sort of tenuous but slightly potentially comfortable situation they could get to, they're losing bodies. Sandy finds one, and there goes another player onto the floor as Sandy gets a second. Rattler finding Din, and Rattler's gonna go down. That is MI7's kill, actually. The track stinger is coming into play there. Ooh, hipfire pistol with the Monty. You don't see that too often. But speaking of pistols, Silence with the headshot all the way from within sight to blue stairs door. We'll finish off the Montaigne. No trouble whatsoever. Hunters LFO with a third round here on Bank. And RushB, this is the map that they chose, and they are 0-3 down, folks.
Yep, 0-3. A timeout is definitely an important one of that too, because Man, 0 to 3. They've secured all three sites, even the difficult one sites too. First floor, open area, one of the most difficult sites, and Hunters, they just pulled it off. Second floor site, especially when you have Azami, you just have to break your friendship with deployable shields. I mean, I know it's a sad thing. I know it's a sad thing. Deployable shields, for the defenders, it was like their best friend. But when Azami entered into the scene, it was like, yeah, I mean, don't worry, I got you covered. She just throws an entire soft wall for you to give that protection. And boy, she has been in the meta ever since on defense. That's the main reason why you see Azami getting banned most of the time. But when you have the newest introduction called Solace, you have to make a decision on whether if you would rely on letting defenders have good control, or would you let the defenders go out of control and just use information to their king, right? Especially when you have Solus in the scene, all Solus had to do is just check exactly where the default plant is going on, and you can just instantly deny it, just like that. Unless and until if you have an elevated path, like you can vault from the bed, or maybe if you can just vault from the office desk, you can safely plant without having the fear of getting removed out from first floor tellers. But you also need to be careful on those crossfire angles. So
More
since
so
there's
than more so
yeah,
than
go ahead,
just
John.
that, the biggest reason I feel like that Solus probably gets banned isn't just for plant coverage or
For
post plant,
plant
whatever have
denial,
you.
yeah, the amount of
It's
info.
also not just info that she collects, but also the amount of info she denies. She is basically, instead of like how Mozzie takes over drones, right?
Yep.
She's more akin to Mute, where instead of jamming drones, she will just shoot them. She can see drones. She can deny drones. That's
Oh
most
no!
dear me,
Oh
Sandy's
no!
at it again. Where did Mr. Sandy get that kill from? Is what I want to know. Playing the Warden as well. Given the fact that we've seen Ying, we've seen Capitao, I do understand the Warden pick, but to go and get that first kill, and Taha's already taking damage as well. Oh, that's a repel. That's interesting. On that open area corridor window. But to get back to the point that I was saying, right, Solus is fantastic at denying drones, and drones are hugely important in the current attacker meta of Rainbow Six. Without drones, you are not getting anywhere because defenders can jump you, surprise you from left, right, and center, and that is something you have to be careful of course. That's why Solus gets banned more often than Azami. Utility you can take care of, right? But in the meanwhile, Silence gets taken care of as Taha finally gets that first kill, this time for RushB, finding not a trade, I won't say, but a kill taken in return as the castle will fall.
Yeah, this time we're seeing Hunters LFO just spread around towards first floor open area. They have established that proper line of sight to waste a lot of time on basement on when the site is on basement laundry. So Hunter's main goal is to waste a lot of time, then drop down and wait for the attackers to make their push. Eventually, wasting a lot of time, trying to get a lot of value, and then head in for the plant. And when they went in for the plant, you have our trusty old Rattler with the smoke gas canister that can deny important, that can deny those default plant itself. Vault breach has been opened up. Sandy will be much more afraid of both lines of sight, and RushB are just opening up a lot of avenues that can give them an opportunity to secure those kills or not. 1 minute left. MI7 is still alive. It's still 4v4. Time is ticking. Hunters LFO have succeeded in wasting a lot of time towards that first floor. They have gone back to safety. They are in the site. They're playing accordingly with crossfire angles, information, drone works. Everything will be done. But now the biggest problem of it all is what will be the RushB's, what will be RushB's strategy here? They have the control on the hatch. They are going in for the plant on basement side. Breach has been done. Here comes the fire and smoke bolts from MI7. They need to stick this plant. They also be careful about the smoke gas canisters. The C4 Jitter has been taking quite a lot of damage, but he's still alive. 26 seconds. Oh boy, that is really good. The Yokai drones Jittery is just playing it so patiently. Just need to wait for the time, the proper timing itself. The smoke gas canister deals major damage. Then needs to fall back. Rattler gets one. Headshot it is. 14-second time's ticking. RushB has wasted so much time, and they need to secure this kill as much as it takes. Aggressive push, denied, and there you have it, folks. Hunters LFO, beautiful hold on round number 4. Just wasting a lot of time on first floor open area. Patiently waits. And when the time ticks down to 1 minute, they fall back to the site and do their usual lineups. Beautifully done. And RushB, oh man, this is definitely have to be worrying for them. 4 rounds back to back that they have lost. And let's not forget, that this is the site that RushB had picked. And if they lose this, then this will be much more problematic for them in map number 2.
Oh, absolutely. I do feel like going into this map, RushB probably had a good idea of what they wanted to do, how they wanted to proceed into this encounter. However, Hunters have clearly upstaged them by a wide margin. We're going back to second floor CEO office for what is now the 5th round. Hunters in a 4-0 as they are just, well, they are all over RushB's current situation. Any time that RushB even thinks about taking, any site adjacent area, any roam clear, any kind of advantage they could possibly get, Hunters just manage to find a kill, a very important kill, or deny that area, deny that entry, hold them off
There
for
you go.
so long.
Finally, there you go. Now I see an IQ
yeah.
being picked from us here.
Oh, all right. It took a minute. It took a hot
Yeah.
minute, but we do have the IQ now in play, folks. As that is a very important operator. I will be completely honest. I don't really know why people don't pick IQ more often these days. I get it. IQ, has okay guns, not the very best. The 552 is great though. I do feel like, and her gadget is really, really good, especially nowadays when you have ops with so many electrical utilities. You have Echo, who's been coming back into the fold more and more and more. You have Pulse for sites like these. Sometimes Pulse gets picked, right, for CEO holds. He holds from the first floor. IQ is great against the Pulse. If Solus, if Solus gets picked, then that is another, counter battle between the two of them. So IQ, I feel like, definitely could be picked a bit more often, but that's just a minor gripe for now. We have the repel game once again coming out onto the windows of site and site adjacent. Here you have the flames going in. Capital, once again, doing what he does best, trying to close off important areas, rotates and lines of sight from the defenders, but Hunters aren't even in those positions to begin with. Interestingly enough, though, by now, Hunters will have taken, usually, a kill. Seems like RushB are playing it a bit more reserved. They are not getting ahead of themselves, which is good. It's a very good change, one that they needed.
Oh, no.
But
Oh,
as
no.
I say that, Ion loses his life. Oh,
This.
wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute.
Din?
Oh, Din? Oh my god, this could be huge. It's a 3v5. They have no clue the plan is happening. Yokai drones is still not in
dear.
effect. Aggro plays.
my
Din
goodness.
finds one. The opening is so clear. That is such good aggressive plays. 3v3. Now, Hunters are in a bit of a pickle here because they just lost control on the side. A quick, aggressive, desperate method for RushB to get this. 3v2, Taha secures one. Ratter doesn't have enough bullets for the MP5 SD. Again, bearing nines, you still have to get in Barrett. Then is still repelling from the window, and so is Taha. 2v2 time is ticking. They still need 6 seconds at least to secure the defuse. And now Beat is gonna commit for it.
Oh, he's
Will
going for
they
it.
get it? He's still going for it.
He's going
Throws
for
him a
it.
fake Beat. He's gonna commit.
Oh,
He's not gonna
no.
get it. No, Din. Nice, Din. Beautifully done. Beautiful
Oh.
plays. And folks, just like that, RushB will secure round number 5. That is such a desperate attempt. That is such good plays made from Den. Using smokes, instant entry. And that's the main reason why you'd need IQ, folks. Taking out the ADSs, and let's not forget, if that ADS was still present, that smoke grenade would have been popped out. I'm just gonna let you say that.
No, absolutely. The ADS getting taken out is very, very important. Let's not downplay the importance of IQ there. But the other thing is, Din actually just decided to send it, right? Seeing the situation, seeing what needed to be done, then you just said, you know what? I'm not gonna sit out here and just let my teammates die for no reason. He saw the chaos happening and decided, you know what? I'm going in. I don't care. So, and managed to find that particular area that he needed to be in. Came in through the hallway, of course, that little hallway that connects Banana and the main CEO room, and walked in, got the plant off, using the smoke as cover. Given the fact that RushB were losing bodies, I'm very certain that Din would have been tempted to just get off the plant and get a couple of kills, right? But in that situation, had Din done that, that would have been actually the worst thing to do, because if say you go for the gunfights, you lose your life, right? That's diffuser inside the site and your team in a 2v5. You can't afford that. So Din played it correctly by sticking the plant and not giving up his own life. Interestingly enough, we've got a Monty this time from Taha. RushB opting to switch things up, knowing full well that the Ying isn't going to work twice. They've got a Warden as well. Yet again, Beat bringing in that Operator. So attacker repick comes into play, and the Monty finds himself in the round.
For now, it's just drone works for RushB. Have to figure out a way to dismantle Hunter's defense. This point is just playing it split for now, providing info, making sure that Hasib would get the first frags. And let's not forget, this is the third time we've seen a lot of switches, but when it comes to the initial picks, it's still Hunters, folks. Beat secures the first frag, taking out MI7. Apologies, not sure what exactly happened, but let's not forget, Sandy is still holding on towards second floor side. He knows that one of them is still currently repelling towards the window side. They still have main entrance control with the help of Taha. Hasib is also providing good amount of information too. But the biggest problem with it all is that how can they remove those important lines of sight? Jitri will be providing support too. He knows that many people are progressing, making an entrance towards Banana, and that information will be relayed from the Yokai drones. Rattler tries to attempt for a headshot to hopefully remove Monty out of the equation, but he's a mountain at this point. The only thing that he can do is just be an annoyance for the defenders. But they still need to get a frag nonetheless. There is no flanks being made. No flanks on main stairs, no flanks from the other stairs. So it's all main focus towards Banana, which means that it's all up to Din, who needs to make this play. If he can just remove Beat out of that place, that is more than enough to open up an entire second floor site, and that execute will be deadlier than enough. Now RushB, they have to make a play. Sandy making a risky attempt. He gets two. Whoa! What a play from Sandy, and Silence to again remove Din off from that rappel. And just like that, folks, we will see Hunters LFO end the first half on a flawless round win. Now that was unexpected, I'll give you that. Sandy just finding the perfect moment to vault out of Banana and gets 2 kills just like that. That was just beautifully done. Beautiful.
It was. It actually was a smart play as well to jump out of that window, banana window, right?
Yeah.
That's what that Azami did. Seeing that the echo had gotten, a little bit shaky because of that mountain, Monty pushing up, Sandy decided, you know what, enough is enough. We've danced with this mountain in quite a bit, and fun's over. I'm ending this show. Jumps out and practically throws the red curtain down and sends both of them packing. And that was your banana push completely shut down. That was where the diffuser was coming from too. Taha was the one, but playing the Monty with the diffuser. He was supposed to be the one going in, getting the plant done once they had the clearance on one of the sites. But unfortunately, they took too long. Then on the windows just could not find a kill, which was another issue. They didn't have clearance on any of the sites that they could have rotated to or switched up, anything. None of that was possible purely because of how Hunters played it. They never over-aggressed. They stayed in their lane. They knew full well that if they tried to push the Montaigne, too much, if they tried to be foolish about it, they would pay the price. So they decided to not do that.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, Jittery! That is absolutely going in the next Twitter compilation. I'm telling you right now. Shots fired at another defender close to the site. Mind you, there is almost no defender in the site from what I can tell. It's a very off-site sort of hold that that RushB has gone for, which opens up the site to quite a lot of shenanigans, but then finds Sandy. That's a big drop right there. Duck could be gone, and that means a lot of what could have otherwise been, Hunters' chances have just been robbed. They do have the Brava, interestingly enough, and that's going to be taking care of defender utilities bit by bit. Grenade goes out, that's going to take care of the camera as well, but because the hatch is open and defenders are watching from above the hatch, they cannot go for the plant just yet. The plant spot is covered, so Hunters, how do you deal with this?
Yeah, the only bright side is that they have, pre-placed cams already in the prep phase, so unless and until if they get control on first floor, there is no way in hell will they get control on basement side, not a single inch. So they have to get control on open area at no matter what the cost is. And I'm pretty sure that the Romer Mozi is going to make sure to provide that enough amount of distractions. So unless and until there's a lot of damages being made, RushB will just stay tight and they'll never let them push towards the side unless and until Jitri has something else to say, or maybe Rattler outside the stock window, engaging gunfight with the Mozzie. Taha will still stay alive, but here comes Ayan with the refrag. Oh, beautiful shot from Rattler. Ooh, out of nowhere from the main stairs. Taking out Jitri like that will at least dampen the odds of them getting control on basement garage, but still need to be careful on the other side. Ayan is still patiently waiting. Nope, he's just gonna fall back. Good decision. It's just 1 minute left, and Rattler will make sure to cut off any single player who decides to fall back on that positioning. Beat will be able to red ping one of the players. They know that one of them is playing right in towards the vault. Din falls back to safety. Vault hatch has been opened up. Nade. Actually, no, it's not a nade. I'm sorry. It's just a smoke grenade to block that important line of sight. But time's wasting once again. 40 seconds. They finally have control on the first floor side. You still get to see either Beat or maybe Rattler just going back all the way towards the tunnels to hopefully go in for the plant. Yep, Rattler once again is going to miss a lot of shots, but at least on the bright side, he has some information. One playing towards garage, one is playing towards vault, and Silence needs to go this for the plant. The whole first floor side is cleared out, but he's still worried about the C4s, in which Din will secure one. One is playing way too short, and Ayan declines it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And now it's all just down to Silence. 1v2. Risky decision. Hatch control is theirs once again. And RushB, they will gladly get this win. Round number 7. RushB, they will hold on. And defensive side, they just did an amazing job on holding this.
I absolutely agree with that. The whole thing about them playing offside was that the hatches were held, right? It was very, very important. Not just that, the Dokkaebi going down to Din early also, didn't help them much, I would say, or at all for that matter. They needed that Dokkaebi. It was very much essential for the plan that Hunters had. Unfortunately, by overly, I wouldn't say overly, but by spending a lot of resources trying to get in to the CCTV room that early, they left themselves with a bit of a catch-22. They could then re-rotate, which they did, try to clear out the roam and so on and so forth, but RushB, for them, it was obvious that that was going to happen, right? That is what they expected, because Hunter saw, wait, they're on the hatches. We cannot do anything from this angle, so we need to go up and clear them out. And that is exactly what RushB thought they were going to do. They rotated out and found themselves back in the site safely, losing almost no bodies, I will say. And even when they lost the man advantage going into the final, I would say 40 seconds into the round, Hunters simply were not in a position to aggress given the opportunity. They still needed to do a little bit more setting up. They still needed a little bit more clearance. They didn't have it. And unfortunately for them, that spelled doom for them in the round. Which means, of course, folks, this match will continue on. Mind you, the advantage between the two teams, or I should say the disparity between their round scores is pretty big still. 3 whole rounds is what Hunters lead by as we've moved into second floor CEO office in round number 8. Couple of changes in the defender and attacker lineups. We've got a 0 in play from Beat. Sam Fisher with the cameras, the Argus cameras, coming into play. And of course, from the other side, we've got a Frost. Hasib loves that operator, and for good reason. Frost is very, very good right now as a surprise trap operator pick.
Hasib always loves playing those trap operators, either Frost or Nade! Oh, that has gotta hurt. Taha, you need to run away to safety, man. Let Din help you revive, or would it be a huge distraction? Stock, unfortunately, goes at the hands of Hunters. Actually, no, they still are currently repelling, so Taha is safe for now. But that grenade really caused a lot of damage to Taha, so he needs to be very careful when engaging in gunfights. Because if he makes a single peek, if he gets caught out with one single bullet, he is gone in this round.
I think I think if he actually did get caught out in that moment, Taha, I think that would be what, the 3rd or 4th time he was gonna be the entry kill for Hunters. Yeah,
exactly.
Ooh, not a stat you want to be proud of.
Definitely. I actually forgot about that, because the early picks from Hunters are just so dominating. They would either secure a kill either from Taha or from Ayan. It is just going hell and back forth. But let's not forget, Hunters were the one who picked defense in the first half. So RushB, you could say that it could be a heavily defender-favored map on base, especially on this map bank. And Hunters LFO, they are taking so much time. I mean, look at the time itself. It's already past 50 seconds.
Mhm.
And not a single player has been downed out on the second floor side. They have at least made some good lines of sight. Taha, very low on HP. Oh my goodness. Well, it's just not looking too good for him. But on the bright side, MI7 just secures one, and that is Sandy off the board. And now tension starts to rise around from Hunters LFO because they are losing so much time. Yokai drones are in effect. So does the control on towards the hallway. But here comes Beat, repelled in from the window to secure Taha. But that was the only player who was very low on HP, which means rest of the 4 players, they are definitely chilling. But Rattler, oh boy, banana stairs is at his hands. And look at that instant reply from Hunters, removing both the players off the fray. And Rattler, she's just sprinting all the way towards Banana, removes every single player he sees. And even with the denial was being so perfect for RushB, Hunters LFO, they were just one step ahead. And they will secure match point on bank. 6-2. RushB, if you have to take a timeout, please take a timeout. It's okay to refresh. It's okay to reset, because 2-6 is definitely not a good way for you guys to end things off on first map, because on map number 2, you'll be facing much more pressure if things do end to, be in this way.
Right now, RushB, their backs are against the wall, and they absolutely have to find a way out of this situation. They are in a corner. And how do you get yourself out of a corner? Well, of course, one of the best ways to do it is to just punch through whatever's in front of you. Unfortunately, when it's the hunters that you are facing, I doubt it's going to be as simple as that. They need to strategize. They need to do something that hunters won't expect them to. Just catch them off guard with something, anything, and then go from there. They have to play round by round right now, because, folks, the only way that RushB salvages this is by pushing to overtime. And for that, they need to play 4 rounds of some of the best Siege that they have played so far, and then some. Because even in OT, you're not guaranteed a win. Once you go to OT, you could still lose because, well, let's just say that overtime, is just a reset of sorts. Then it just becomes a best of 3. You gotta win 2 rounds again. A whole thing. It's another whole dance that you have to do. And then you have another map after this, which is Chalet, picked by Hunters, mind you. Yes, folks, for those joining just now, this map of Bank that is currently 6-2 to Hunters is actually picked by RushB. They took the Hunters to this map. Fortunately, RushB is not having a good time of it. That much is for certain.
Yeah, they definitely are, Jack. And this is concerning for RushB because of how much powerful that Hunters LFO are just utilizing their good time in their drone works. And when it comes to that final 1 minute, they still hold their crossfires, and either Rattler or maybe Sandy would be the one to do the initiation first before they go in for those executes. So if they can just figure out a way to remove one of the players and survive those cross-angle gunfights, then you could say that RushB could survive in second floor or basement side. But what about the first floor open area? How can RushB secure this? Because on defense, there is that one defensive round where the attackers have maximum advantage, and if they cannot secure that round, then it's all over. Map number 1 will go in their hands, and turns out it could be happening right about now. Sandy is already deep within the site. The marksman rifle just staying true to its name. He secures another one, and now it's actually at the hands of Silence. 2v5. RushB, they are crumbling. They are just falling apart piece by piece, and it's just 2v4. It's all up to Hasib, and then who needs to secure this basement side, and Sandy, he's just waiting it patiently, sees the head, secures it. 1v4, triple kill, pops away, almost getting the shot off, but he has the information nonetheless. And Sandy, he is currently on fire a lot. It's up to Din, he secures one, but Silence gets the other. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 1 goes at the hands of Hunters LFO. They will secure map number 1, Bank. And Chalet is the map that they've picked, and they are one step closer to securing LCQ. Last chance qualifiers. Come on, RushB. I'm pretty sure this isn't the end of them yet.
Oh no, not by a long shot, folks. We are only getting started, if you ask me. 7-2 to the Hunters, as they have played one of the better games of Siege I've seen from them in recent memory. That probably includes the close qualifier stream matches that we had. Although, you could argue a couple of those matches probably were a bit more exciting than this one. It depends on how you see this first map. For me, everything that's gone into it and everything that happened each round was really good. And Hunters, again, showing us one of the key things that they have in their arsenal, their adaptability. As a team, they are by far one of the better sort of teams that can, adapt to their situations, adapt to their uh, whatever they're doing, whatever their surroundings are, whatever they need to do, they can do very, very well. And for them to win the map that their enemies have taken them to, that their rivals have taken them to, I should say, well, folks, that means that RushB, well, they're in a bit of a spot of bother. I think we can all agree on that front because of how map one has gone. They lost their own map, RushB, and Chalet, what once used to be known as RushB, or formerly when they were MRCZ's domain,
Yeah, I
MRCZ's
remember.
map, RushB's map, Hunters have beaten them here multiple times so far.
Yep.
So
So many times.
it just, I don't know, like right now, I'm not sure what RushB can do to sort of come back from this, but whatever they need to do, they need to do it very quickly. And they cannot afford to let Hunters get as much of an advantage as they had starting off in map one.
This has got to be nerve-wracking for Hasib at this point. Rush B, they've been through hell and back just to be in that place. So yeah, as we take a look, I mean, I wouldn't say take a look. I mean, I just kid you not. Whenever I just talk about the transitions and everything, it just locks in my mind. I just keep realizing that I can just chill, stay calm about it. But yeah, according to the vetoes, I believe the map is Chalet,
Yep.
and it's been picked by Hunter's LFO,
Mhm.
and Rush B had the chance to pick the site, and they chose attack to be their first half. So second
All
half,
right.
we will see Rush B on defense. So what are the bans here? Would we see a Solus ban or an Azami ban? Because at this point, when it comes to a defensive ban, that's the only bans that will change a lot at this moment. No Thatcher ban, no, not the usual Mira and Valkyrie ban that we get to see a lot more often. This is LCQ, folks. Last chance qualifier spot. If you want it, then you've got to make sure that you ban the important operators that you require in order for you to set your final destination towards the LCQ. So yeah, once again, Chalet. I think Chalet has been picked by Chalet picked by Hunters, which means Rush B is going on attack first. Yep, attack Rush B. I think so. Yeah, it is. It is.
Yep.
I think I have it in the website called
Uh,
Challenger Mode. That's where you can get all the information regarding this, folks. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. But yeah, attack Rush B. That's the thing. Ban wise, usually you'd always expect a kite ban, right? Because electrocharge, it's very difficult. If you do tend to ban Thatcher at this point, Kite's electro is actually very powerful if you chose to place both of your electrocharges or try to go in for a trek. But I don't know, man. On defense, it could be anything at this point. It either could be I mean, we either could see a Ying ban. Actually, not a Ying ban. Pretty sure we would see a targeted Azami ban because Sandy is just on point with his shots, his crossfire angles with Rattler. Maybe we could expect to see an Echo ban because they're getting tons of information from that yokai drones. And unless and until if they can figure out a solution to remove those yokai drones first, they have no other choice but to ban Echo first. Maybe some intel operators. And the best part about the first map is that, Jack, they didn't even pick Valk. Did you ever see Valkyrie being picked on Bank? Right? Because I think I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that this entire match Valkyrie was still opened up, and we never saw Valkyrie being picked on defense. What could it be the main reason here, Jack? What why is Rush B and Hunters LFO choosing to pick Echo more than Valkyrie? Like, what's the main reason to it?
I think primarily one thing that we all need to remember, right? Valkyrie, formerly, you had this very powerful part of her toolkit known as throwing her cameras outside. Right. Now you can't do that. There's a timer after which I think it's like 10 seconds and then the cameras get destroyed.
Mhm.
So Valkyrie cameras are primarily used inside of the building instead. And that actually brings them a bit more in line with other Defender observation tools, like the deployable secondary deployable cameras, like Maestro's Evil Eyes, like Echo's Yokai drones. However, the difference being that all of those other observation tools do a secondary thing that Valkyrie's cameras simply do not, right? They are just cameras, right? Clues in the name, black eye cameras. Maestro's Evil Eye, yes, it's an observational tool, but when Maestro is in control of it, it opens up and shoots literal lasers at you, right? And that, of course, is very good for dealing damage, for poking away at enemies, for, holding post plants, so on and so forth. Echo's Yokai drones, also very, very good at denying area, keeping players constantly on their toes about being observed. And it's a mobile drone. Valkyrie's cameras, while she has quite a few of them, they can't move around. Neither can the Evil Eye of the Maestro. Instead, Yokai drones can move around. Even Mozzie, when he takes up a drone, right? Whenever he picks one up from his pests, that is the equivalent of a moving Valkyrie camera, right?
Yep.
So, in regards to everything that other observational tools do, and actually, one of the things I forgot to touch on, the secondary deployable camera has an EMP charge that refreshes, right?
Yep.
So, you can, in theory, keep disabling any sort of electrical attacker equipment that is within range of that EMP blast, which is really good. It's actually a really understated ability, but it's also really, really strong, I feel like, and something that should and probably is going to be used more and more as time goes on. And then you have Valkyrie, who has versatile small cameras that are very easy to hide, yes, but that's all they do. So you have to then choose, do you want these secondary utilities but less observation tools, or do you want more observational tools and less secondary utility? That's sort of the trade-off, and most of the time Valkyrie gets picked. Don't get me wrong, Valkyrie gets picked a lot still, but it's now more situational than it used to be, because before you could just toss a Valcam outside and get a ton of intel, right?
Yep.
And IQ would almost become mandatory when Valkyrie would be played to that level. Now that's not the case. And that is, I think, one of the main reasons why Valkyrie has seen a decline in play as compared to someone like Echo or even Maestro. Maestro doesn't actually get picked as much, but I feel like even if he were picked, he would be picked with a pretty good amount of consistency once people started to realize how to sort of make him work in the current Defender meta of Rainbow Six.
When you talked about Maestro Jack, it actually gave me like a huge flashback of a 1v3 from Hot and Cold. Man, that clutch was just...
Oh yeah, that clutch was insane.
A bank, first floor open area. Hot and Cold is just out in the open. He could get caught out from any angles, but somehow he kept his calm, uses the Maestro Evil Eye cam, denies the default plant, secures the kill from the Alda. Man, that was just... that whole round itself was just so electrifying. Phew. But if you have to talk about this meta-wise, Jack, I'm pretty sure that Maestro couldn't be in the meta because of the amount of denials and counters that Maestro have, right? Especially with the being able to melee the Maestro cams and also explosions, Brava's cam that could be hacked and could be directed the lasers towards the defenders. Brava is still a new operator that can provide so much possibilities for the attackers.
Speaking of Brava, actually, let's head into the match.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh my god.
We have map number 2 starting up, folks. Right here, right now. The players were in, they were ready, and we are going in. The bans have started, and the hunters have the first ban of this map. And we will see a Flores ban here on Chalet. Makes sense. Those RCE Roteros are very good at utility denial and destruction. And well, they don't have as many counters as your standard drone, other than of course Mute. But let's just get this out of the way. Mute is a universal operator. He's not really a situational defender like he used to be at some point in the past, and even then he was important. So have at thee, as Mute says. But in the meanwhile, Thatcher and Solus will be the bans from the side of RushB.
Well, now you know the main reasons why the attackers banned Thatcher in the first place. EMP, if that EMP was thrown at the left side of the window, especially on blue stairs, that's exactly where most of the defenders would play their angles on, with the help of their deployable shields and with the use of a Mai. Now, with the EMPs not being in play and the Flores' RC Reteros not coming to destroy those deployable shields, ADS will be powerful, so is the deployable shield, and also let's not forget about Azami's walls. So, map number 2, folks. Chalet will be the map, and also I do have to apologize in the beginning where I just drifted away. At this point, I was literally like sitting in a rocking chair, talking about stories about how it happened, when it happened, and then afterwards I realized, wait, we have a match to cast. Map number 2, Chalet, folks. Prep phase is already in. The site is on second floor, master bedroom / office. Let the games begin. And Hunters, boy, they are sitting on match point. Map point.
Pretty much series point, I would say, for right now, or match point actually. Series point would come when they're like, 6 something up again into this particular map, or maybe even map 3. Who knows? After all, if Hunters can win RushB's map pick, then RushB could absolutely win Hunter's map pick as well. It's never out of the realm of possibility. And you know what they say? Never say never. The site, of course, is on first floor kitchen as we get things started for this round with the Hunters on the defense. Chalet, of course, is a bit of a tenuous map. Sometimes it's attacker-sided, sometimes it's defender-sided, but generally it is regarded as having a slight attacker advantage to it. Not a whole lot, it's actually more even than you think most of the time. But with Amira in play for the defenders, it's going to be an interesting toss-up. Haseeb with the first shots fired towards what could have been a potential defender inside of the game room, but not quite, as the hammer of the sledge will find its mark on the windows of second floor, getting an entry, getting the drone in, clearing things out for the rest of the team, as they need to make sure second floor is clear before they do anything on that first floor.
Yep, mezzanine is exactly what RushB needs to be worried about. And once they had control into his library, hoping to remove all the frost mats, they will slowly show their presence towards mezzanine. I'm quite surprised to see that Sandy is not going to hold towards mezzanine. You'd usually see a reinforcements and windows being made, but turns out a C4 toss from Rattler will claim Taha. Once again, not looking good when it comes to the early peaks. It's the same thing that we saw on map Bank. Turns out its history is repeating itself on map number 2, Chalet, as well. Not looking good as your first initial pick has been removed out of the equation. But you still have MI7. The IQ scans will be very important in pinpointing exactly where those utilities are. It would also been helpful if they had EMP gadgets though, but all in all they just have to make do. And also let's not forget the site is on first floor kitchen, and the players or the attackers especially, they're getting control on second floor master bedroom. Haseeb once again, great shot that will at least deny one of the players towards office, which means they can now establish vertical lines of sight. You still got to be careful on the rest of the 2 players, and that is Sandy nonetheless. Headshot to take out Haseeb. He's still alive. He still has protection from the alibi. Beat is still watching from the window side, and Jittery is making his long flank, which means that only Rattler is in the side. MI7 takes out Sandy, which means that the entire second floor is clear except for Beat. If they just removed one player off from that second floor, they will be free, and they can finally focus on the side. But Rattler doesn't have a C4, but he has a proper line of sight. He's watching towards the bathroom side to provide protection. That is looking good. That is looking very important, but let's not forget about the man count. It's 3v2. Jittery finds the head, but then gets it quicker. 3v1. It's all up to Rattler. C4 already found one of the players, but now he needs to find 3 more who are now slowly entering towards the side. His location is still not given away. Wait a minute. Whoa! Okay!
Oh my goodness.
Huge run-out attempt. He will secure one. Rattle knows that there is one player coming from the Solarium stage. He needs to be careful. Precision is key. Patience is heavily required. And maybe this clutch could be huge! 1v1 Rattler! Oh boy, now is the time for you to
5
shine, buddy.
seconds.
They have to go in. It doesn't have much time. Rattler is sprinting. He's going to get off from the bomb, and he gets it.
Well played.
Rattler the bomb. Rattler the rat. Rattler the hero. for Hunters LFO. My God. What a play from Rattler. My goodness. A run out to take out one. The securing of the kill. 5 seconds left. Rattler just played it beautiful. Just so beautiful.
Well, a pause has been requested from the side of RushB, and I think it went off just in time. I do hope so, anyway. But yes, folks, what a play and a half from Rattler, and very well done to deny the plant. I'll tell you what. Ho ho! That was absolutely amazing to watch. And I'll tell you what, Rattler, cool as a cucumber. That run out, honestly, if it were me doing that run out, if, say, I had gotten that kill, I wouldn't have, but if, let's just stay in Fantasyland for a little bit longer,
All right.
if I gotten that kill off the jump out, coming back in, I would have just been too nervous to know what to do, honestly. However, Rattler, there's a reason why Rattler and, of course, all of these players are playing the competitive, and, you know, we're here shouting our throats off into a mic for people to watch. But, well played indeed. A 1v3 to start things off. That is going to boost the Hunters' morale quite a bit. But for RushB, that will mean that they could have started really well. Unfortunately, even then, they have been denied. How do you really go about coming back from this? Well, first of all, they're going to need MI7 back. Unfortunate disconnect from MI7. That is why the pause was requested, of course. And we're just waiting for them to get back. And once they do, RushB and Hunters give us the ready, and we move on to round number 2. But let's just say this much. Chalet, if there was a way to start off for RushB by winning round 1, maybe round 2 before, you know, Hunters start piling up their own rounds, pulling things back, so on and so forth. Unfortunately, they almost got to that first step, winning the first round, only to be denied in, I should say, spectacular fashion.
Yeah, also, I'm actually worried about RushB 2, Jack, because, man, this is definitely not looking good for them. First map on Bank really didn't go out well in their favor, and now on map Chalet, it's repeating once again. The initial, the early frag potential that you see from Hunters LFO, it's still present on Chalet. They are securing the first frag. They are shutting down Taha, or Taha, maybe Ayan, whenever the operator who is playing as Ash or maybe Iana at that time, being able to remove that one aggro player on attack hurts a lot for RushB. But as I recall from RushB, they have always been in those situations where they've secured 2v4 situations, especially when they went up against Hunters LFO. I still remember that, and there is high likely a chance that they can still do it. But I think there is something that's not letting them do it for a reason. And I think it could be because of pressure, it could be because of the tension, or maybe it could be the morale boost, like you said, Jack. So I'm just worried for RushB at this moment. They have worked so hard. And now looking at Hunters LFO making a tremendous recovery. 1v3 from Rattler. You see just huge plays from Sandy. When you have a power hitters like that, what can RushB do in this situation? Like, what can they do?
Mind you, RushB, the current roster that they are boasting, right, has gone up in this capacity against Hunters before. So this is not a complete unknown matchup for certain players in RushB, and, other players are more experienced against Hunters. That's not really the case, I would say. Din, Ayan, they've all gone up against Hunters with Taha, Hasib, and MI7 before. It's been happening for a couple of years now. So Hunters definitely know they're in a situation where their opponents kind of know what to expect. However, the thing with Hunters is this, I've said this before many times when casting Hunters games, is that they are a team that changes up what they do very frequently. And sure, you could look at it on the broad strokes and say, yeah, no, they do roughly the same thing. It's more the minutiae of the details, like, the minutiae of what they do, the details, the little bits and pieces here and there. Maybe instead of going through library, they decide to go through straight to mezzanine balcony. Maybe instead of going in from office, they decide to go in from sunroom, so on and so forth. Is those changes in entry points. The overall objective is the same: roam clear, into site setup, into execute, right? Or on the defensive side of things, roam, deny, and then make sure that they keep denying, make sure that the attackers are never comfortable, even if for a moment. But it's how they, do it differently every single time, or most of the time. When they have a strategy that works, they'll keep on it. They're not going to change it until they are forced to. However, that's the thing. Their opponents need to force them to change that strategy. RushB has been able to do that before. It's not new to them, so to speak, and it's definitely not rocket science, I would say. Even RushB would tell you that, despite their current situation, it's not rocket science to make hunters change their playstyle, change their entry or denial or whatever they're doing. But more so, it's just the kind of confidence that hunters goes at it with. It's really hard to overcome. The kind of defense they stack up slowly but surely, the pressure that they put on you, it is immense. Speaking of pressure, it's going to be piling on RushB right now because there's only a minute and 10-ish remaining on the clock, and they still haven't taken up library. They're getting rid of the shields and utilities, but the players are still here. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath in the next few seconds.
Yeah, the worst part about it is that they still don't have control in kitchen. They have good amount of denials, but RushB, Haseeb, they've already figured out a way. But here comes the reply back. My goodness, chaos just soothing around the sides of library as they finally got control in a span of 40 seconds. The biggest concern has to be the stairs. Haseeb needs to be careful on the blue stairs. Actually, they do. Once again, it's a 1v2. It's all up to Silence. All by himself. Oh no, missed chance. And MI7 will gladly get that information. He will give away. His Silence's information is given away once again, but he will down MI7 instead. Now he just needs to find Haseeb, the captain of RushB. Only he could revive things back on a 1v1, and this is a very good decision made from him. It's still a 1v2. Haseeb has recovered his teammate, and now they can finally establish that important crossfire angle. No information being given, no C4s. He can only rely on this SMG weapon. Can Silence clutch this? A very difficult path. Hunter's LFO has been in many situations before. Oh boy! Headshot. One more kill. Oh no! Accidental knife, but no, he's still alive. It's just the information game. He finds one, but Haseeb is full on HP. He gets it! Silence! Back-to-back clutches. What is happening? Hunters is on a new level right now. What? Two back-to-back 1v3 clutches. What is happening, dude? What?
I have no words. First it was Silence, now it's first it was Rattler, now it's Silence, both pulling off a 1v3. Rattler denied the plant, Silence decided, I'll let the plant happen, it's fine. You know what's even better? Or better is a matter of perspective here. But you know what made the situation even more tense? Silence got the IQ down inside the site, but had no idea where Haseeb was, right? Because Silence was sort of pushing up the main stairs, the lobby stairs, going up to library balcony, and was peeking that with full intent. It's almost as if Silence knew, or at least had known, that Haseeb was there, and it wasn't until the plant went off that he realized, sort of, or at least maybe he heard the revive go off or something happened, he realized that both of them are in the site. But even with that temporary lack of information, Silence made sure to stay in cover so that the only way he could get shot was if somebody wide peeked all the way from the hallway door of kitchen. And that's a lot of area to cover. You would make a lot of noise getting there quickly. Silence would have heard that. So that was actually smartly done from the player in the Hunter side. And Silence is the newest player for Hunters, and it is very clear why Hunters have picked up, well, this player right now, because they are proving their mettle quite well. With the second 1v3 going down in this match's record, I should say, that puts Hunters 2-0 up, and once again, it will be a morale boost for them. For RushB, however, It's another sign of a little bit of danger, actually. They just aren't able to pull up their socks. They aren't able to perform up to fluff, which is an issue. Going 3 versus 1 up both times in the first 2 rounds and then losing the plot like this, it's not going to be good for team morale.
And at this point, I can see a total of 6 grenades, Jack. So the only thing that I can expect is that RushB will be getting control towards first floor kitchen.
Oh yeah, it is going to be
Once
an
they have,
explosive
yeah,
round.
yeah, it definitely will be. Cooked grenade is exactly what they require, but you still need to be alive. Jittery is just.
Oh dear.
I mean, it's just. Whenever I see Hunter's LFO securing an initial pick like that, it'll just it just
Great.
drastically reduces RushB. Oh, Jittery once again gets the second. Ayan is still there, aggressively pushing towards mezzanine. He will provide some pressure into that particular place. But now Jittery, he's already feeling it. He just secured 2 kills with with the Valkyrie MPX, removing both MI7 and Hasib. He just needs to focus on removing Ayan and Taha. Dangerous fraggers from the side of RushB. Just need to be careful, but Jittery is on a tear right now. Triple kill. He's about to go in for the ace. Finds the head, doesn't get it clearly. And with him, he's just solo holding first floor kitchen all by himself. There is no trade outs being made, no absolutely nothing. Jittery is just in towards first floor kitchen and he is just wrecking havoc. Beat will also come in for the support. He takes out Taha and now it's all up to 10. 1v4, 1 minute left. What can RushB do at this moment? Their entire morale boost is just gone. It's just gone in just this 3 rounds. What can they do at this moment? He's just caught out in every single angles. He has nowhere to run, and Hunters, what a way to display fear into the heart of their opponents. 3-0 on defense. And my god, this is a different Hunters I'm feeling right now.
This is a Hunters that has very much learned from the recent tournaments that we have had. They have played a variety of teams over the course of course, the last year, beginning into this year, 2023, and they have clearly learned from those experiences. They are really feeling like a very solid unit right now. And the last time I'd casted them, Silence was just coming into the team, and he was taking the place of Sparko right at the very beginning, which was the last time I had casted them, which was a couple months ago. It felt a lot more tentative from them. They were a lot more sort of reserved. They couldn't quite, stretch their limbs, so to speak, because Silence had just been added to the roster, and they were still trying to sort of gel with him. The team was just trying to come together in lieu of Sparko not being able to play as often. And now, of course, Sparko has moved over to Gamer Syndicate. Meanwhile, Hunters have had Silence as a mainstay for these last couple of months, which has very clearly helped. It has now turned into, from what was once a reserved Hunters playing to sort of struggling to keep going forward, now they are running at a brisk pace at that. RushB, on the other hand, unfortunately, any of the problems that we may have described before seem to not only still be there, but some of them keep rearing their heads. They lose their way whenever they have an advantage, and if they get pressured more than they feel like they can handle, it's not that how much pressure they can actually handle, how much pressure they feel like they can handle. Often, whenever that threshold is crossed, you'll see them start to make mistakes, start to, mess up in situations where otherwise they play really, really well, and the pressure just sort of starts to get to them. After which point, well, it's already a done deal. If that pressure has forced you to make mistakes against the Hunters, you cannot afford to do that. The 2 1v3s at the beginning of this map should be more than enough of an indicator, but right now, brisk droning happening from the side of the attackers. Those drones are being caught out by observation of the utility and being shot out as required by the Hunters defenders. Plenty of them on second floor, right above the site. But what is RushB's plan here? Are they going to try and switch it up, go from elsewhere? Well, it seems like there is a bit of a first floor presence this time, going in from bar into the main lobby. They want to get the breach done onto the site in tandem with clearing the second floor.
Yeah, this could be a tough one though for RushB. First for kitchen side, now they're just playing it as safe as possible. Once again, there's 3 players towards the first floor kitchen side. Lines of sight has been opened up. They know that the entire second floor site Hunters have an entire control towards it. Now, the only difference is Hasib. So he's playing all the way towards the basement side. Beat will find out one of the players with the hole that he had made towards mezzanine. I'll be able to relay that information to his team. But do they have information on the on the stairs where exactly Hasib is going from? This place will be the make it or break it moment. And there you go. That's first kill. All he needs to do is just find the rest of it. Even with the barbed wires, that angle being held out will be a toughest one to think about it. Control is present. First floor kitchen. Beautiful kills from Ayan. Instant control from second floor. And now they can just go in for the plant. Will it happen? They have the C4s. Will they connect? No, Hasib is still there for the denial. And it's now it's all up to Beat. 1v4. Default plant has been given up. Beautiful headshot. But still, he needs to find all three players within a span of 35 seconds. He still needs 6 seconds for the defuse. And with less amount of information, Beat, he has nowhere else to go. Although all 3 rounds were just clutches, I'm pretty sure that round number 4 cannot be the same clutch as you'd expect. But there you go. RushB will finally get back into their mojo form and bring things out. Winning round number 4 on attack. A really great plays, really good plays from Hasib, knowing that you have at least around 3 or 4 players playing towards second floor. The only choice for Hasib was to just play it as safe as possible, and the only way where he could have gone is from towards the wine cellar stairs. Although there was a barbed wire being placed, you'd usually see at least one of the players placing from the one particular thing. So getting that first kill, securing the rest of it, definitely helped RushB in securing those important frags. And yeah, I believe it will be 3-1, and I'm pretty sure a rehost will be requested though on round number 5. A rehost will be made, I think so, but we just have to wait and see. Round number 5, it's still 3-1. Hunters LFO. All those 3 rounds that we've witnessed was a flawless round win and a 1v3 back-to-back clutches on round number 1 and round number 2. But the rest of it, it's yeah. I think we just have to see what exactly is happening. But yeah, we just have to come back. We just have to go in for a
Bit of a-
rehost.
We are
Yeah,
rehosting,
I
guys.
believe it's
Yeah.
a rehost, folks.
Yeah, we
Again,
are rehosting. We'll
No-
be right back.
yeah.
Alrighty then, folks. So we are back with the match. Had to quickly rehost to get some settings back in order. Not really sure how things happened the way they did, but they did. We had to rehost. We are now back, and we're moving straight into round number 5. We've had 4 rounds of absolutely wonderful Rainbow Six Siege so far, and we're now going into the the final few
Three.
rounds of the second first half, I should say. Excuse me, watching the chat got me a little confused right there. For some reason, weirdly enough, there's a bit of a thing happening, folks. uh a site that should not be locked is locked
What?
for some reason. Can't really figure it out myself, and I don't know if the players are able to either. First floor bar is what Sandy's reporting is still locked, and first floor bar was played in round number 2. So, Baba, just correlate with me here.
Mm-hmm.
First floor bar was played in round 2, right?
Yeah.
And it was won by Hunters LFO, who are defending. So that map would be locked for a couple of rounds,
Yeah.
right?
Silence just did a 1v2, especially on first
One
round
v
bar.
three,
Yeah.
yeah.
1v3.
So
Yeah.
we're now in round number 5. So how many
Uh-huh.
rounds have passed? 3, 4. This is the third round since,
Yeah. And it
and
should be unlocked,
it
right? Because it's
should be
after
unlocked,
2 rounds, it should be unlocked. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys.
This
We
is
will rehost again, man.
yeah, we're just
Yeah.
Yeah,
rehosting
sorry
it
for-
I
again,
I
folks.
think
Sorry
think-
for any kind of
I think-
inconveniences. I'm gonna just make a whole new lobby.
Yeah.
yeah.
I hate this game.
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. We've had a couple of delays here. Do apologize for that, but let us hope that after this rehost, things are better and we are able to proceed with the game as intended.
I think you can pick kitchen and dining. Can you? Okay,
It
thank God.
should be, yeah.
I think they can pick.
Yeah. They can pick kitchen and dining. They can pick bar. It is all cool. We are back, folks. The stream will now continue as originally intended. Hunters going 3-1 up, but they have lost the previous round, so to speak, in round 4, which was first floor kitchen. So they are looking to go back there and reattempt the site. And that is an interesting decision, all things considered. I want to see how they go about this because RushB have finally taken one over the Hunters, and that could be potentially the seeds of a comeback. But again, that's a long way off. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch, folks. Right now, let us see what this round 5, has to offer.
Yep. All right. Round number 5, kitchen and dining will be the site once more. And also, yeah, I'm actually glad that this has been fixed very quickly. Okay, talking about the defensive lineups from Hunters, you have Vamai Silence, so pretty sure that you will meet. You will have at least some defensive holds being made from mezzanine hallway. You even have Sandy that can help you provide vital information from the first floor, but you still got to be careful about Hasib, because Hasib is currently the one playing as the Ash. And like I remember on round number 4, where they had a surprise pick attack from Wine Cellar Stairs. It was very difficult for Hunters to, to bring back at a certain moments like that. But turns out it's even much more frustrating. Oh no! Oh! Gotta be careful of that drone holds beat because you just got caught out very quickly, man. The timing that Taha just secured that first frag was just. Oh man, Beat is definitely not gonna be happy about this.
Not at all. That is for sure. Beat is going to have to try and, just man the cameras for now, see what all information they can give to their teammate. But for the time being, it's up to the rest of the team. Jittery about to come to a gunfight, does take a couple shots, but it's Zofia on the other side, and Beat simply does not want to risk the whole idea of him going down. Taha falls in the meanwhile, as Sandy will take the trade. A late trade, but a trade nonetheless. C4 to get the kill. Silence finds Ayan, and RushB immediately find themselves on the back foot once again.
Yeah, this time, second floor side is fully at the hands of Hunters. They will never let RushB push in towards the side of second floor master bedroom as they'd expected it to be. So they have to take a lot of time on this. They lost both Taha and Ayan, so they need to find a different way to get inside second floor bedroom if they need to secure first floor kitchen. And also, let's not forget, Ace is still alive. He already used both of his Selma breach charges to open up lines of sight, one in towards second floor master bedroom and second towards the bathroom side, which means the last and the final Ace Summer breach charges should be used to open up first floor kitchen. So it's not open just yet. And second floor side is exactly what RushB is trying to do. They are trying to remove those important picks out of the equation, but you also be careful about Sandy's info gaining intel. Oh boy, that is definitely going to hurt because Jittery, he will find MI7. He knows the rest of the two players are pushing aggressively towards master bedroom, but Hasib finds the pick. Important pick at least. 2v3. Hatches has been opened up. They haven't reinforced it, which means that for Hunters, they got to be careful on that hatch drop. Plus more so, they need to be careful on another place, and that's exactly where Hasib will find it with the help of that vertical line of sight towards the bathroom side. Now, Solarium, with the help of the recharge, will open up some line of sight to clear out players towards trophy, but they're losing a lot of time. 10 seconds. They need to push in towards the side. That's exactly where the players are patiently waiting, and that's where Silence is waiting too. 1v2. Can he secures it? No, it's Silence. MP5k in hand, secures 2 kills, 360s around, throws the proximity mine, and says we have still got it in the bag.
All right then, Hunters with another kitchen win, and just making sure, folks, don't you worry. We're making sure that all, everything is good, everything is cool. There's no issues or errors because we want to avoid those going forward for now. But with all that said, Hunters 4-1 up on Chalet. it is going to be very, very difficult for RushB to find themselves a way back from this particular situation. Even though I am seeing an interesting pick here, MI7 bringing in the Brava, given the kind of utility that the defenders have generally brought, like Hunter's defenders, I should say, Brava actually makes sense. You have the Wamai discs, you have the ADSs of the Jaeger. Of course, this time you've got beat with the Thorn's Razor Blooms that can also be converted. And Razor Blooms are deadly, actually, up to a certain extent, right? So that's very good for keeping defenders away from certain spots where the Razor Blooms have their aerial effect. You have the proximity mines of Sandy, the Wamai as well, that can be turned. Pretty much every electronic gadget that hunters have in this round can be converted to an attacker gadget using Brava's drones. Now, of course, Brava can only convert 6 gadgets, and her drone needs to be within a certain radius while trying to convert them to be able to do it successfully. So there's a catch to Brava and how she works. However, I feel like for the hunters, that is the last thing they will want to worry about. For now, they want that first pick, they want that entry, excuse me, that entry denial, I should say, and then you move on from there.
Well, at this point, I could say that RushB's main intent is to get control on library, which will be heavily met with resistance, that is for sure. When you have Rattler and Silence, both of them holding towards library with those Frostmat traps being laid, and mezzanine control still at the hands of hunters, RushB will be having a lot of difficulties facing this issue. They only have 3 flashbangs in which Din can only, use it to deny the magnets and ADSs towards the blue stairs. Yeah, that's exactly where the deployable stair, exactly where the deployable shield is. We also have those barbed wires, so the more utilities you use just to remove that deployable shield, you still got to be careful on those barbed wires, because it will slow your movement and also give away your positioning. It's a non-lethal way of giving information and securing those kills, and especially for the defenders, it's a vital tool to have, a crucial one. And that's the main reason why you see RushB are just patiently waiting. They just got to figure it out. Once again, flashbangs being thrown around. You still have the Zophia's impact nades that can help them to remove those deployable shield. But how will you deal with the angle that's been placed from mezzanine? That's exactly where I believe Sandy's playing, and he's still pressuring towards that one simple spot. So it all heavily relies on Hasib. If he can get this surprise pick, that surprise pick will definitely catch hunters off guard, because they are so heavily focused. But Sandy's too keen on it. He knew exactly when Hasib would push, but here comes Din once again to try to reverse it back. 3v4. Let's not forget, the site is on first floor kitchen, so the control on that side is very heavy. But Silence, he's doing what he does best. Headshot removes Taha out. 2v4, make that 1v4 as Ayan is the only player left. He needs to secure it. Jittery, SMG-11 gets the head. Goes Ayan, and hunters, a tremendous performance in this first half. Round number 6, they will secure first floor bar and gaming room. And just like that, the role swap will commence with RushB going on defense and hunters on attack.
5-1. It is a repeat of what we saw on Bank in terms of the score going into the second half. The only real difference here being that RushB won round 5 on Bank instead of round 4 here in Chalet. But all things considered, does that really matter? Because the end result is still the same. First half, 5-1 for the Hunters. RushB, it's getting more and more and more difficult each round that passes like this, and it's gonna get to a point where they simply won't be able to make the comeback that they need to, I will say, because this is their last chance here to get into LCQ. They lose this match, that's it, they're done. There's no lower bracket run here in the open quals that can sort of carry them back into the running for LCQ. It's either here you win, push to map 3 and, squeeze out a victory, or you lose and you walk away having fought far, but not quite far enough. Hunters, for now, on the attack side of things, they mostly feel like, they're pretty chill, honestly. The way they played these last couple rounds, the energy from them is confident, calm, and collected. But for Rush B, there's a certain amount of panic to that roster. There's a certain amount of uncertainty in the way that they've been playing. They've got a Rook in play, Ion bringing in that operator. Rook, of course, is a very, very good op, all things considered these days. Kind of competitively viable, given that not only does he guarantee a DBNO, down but not out state, where you're just crawling on the floor for a few seconds, you can actually pick yourself back up, as all of Rook's armor plates give you a withstand ability along with a boost of health. So that is actually really nice for Rook to have, I would say, and it just makes him that little bit more of a tempting pick in the competitive situations that these players find themselves in. MI7 with the Goyo, of course, been a while since we've seen a Goyo, but the canisters are going to be very crucial, I feel like, to the way RushB wants to defend this. But Sandy has gotten the first one, and it's that Rook that we were talking so much about to bite the dust. Rattler falls to Asib on the other side.
Yeah, 4v4. Even though Rook's armor plate is very strong on body shots, a single shot to the head will still confirm its kill, even if it's DBN or not. So for Hunters, all it requires is just one shot to the head. That's exactly what Sandy would do. Hasib, on the other hand, taking quite a lot of damage. Not quite sure exactly where. Maybe from... Yeah, actually, he's from Solarium Stairs. I actually forgot. So with that amount of pressures being made and that crossfire angles being produced, every single lines of sight has been cut off. And actually, it's MI7, not Hasib, who's currently in Solarium Stairs, but he still gets the kill anyway. TCSG, the most powerful slug weapon in the game of Rainbow Six Siege, will secure one more important kill. With both Silence and Rattler down, Jittery been tagged quite a lot of damage from the Legion Goo, so he needs to remove it as fast as possible, but he chose to play with it. Not quite sure if it's a good idea, because you'll constantly take damage, and Jittery, it's just best to remove it out, but no, he's still not removing it. Oh no, Jittery, he might be dead, but no, he's still alive. Okay, 3v3. He secures the kill. Come on, just remove the goo mine. Alright, he already did. That's good to know. Sandy, once again, might be contesting a gunfight with the Jaeger, but turns out he fails, and Din will secure it. Once again, Hunters are going to feel the pressure right now, because Jittery is very low on HP, because if he misses one shot while he's going in for the peak, it's all over. The same thing for Beat. He currently has the diffuser in hand, 20 seconds left. Time is ticking. RushB will play accordingly with time. They have denials from the Vulcan shields. All they have to do is just play this patiently, and here comes in once again. Beautiful shot. Removes Jittery out of the equation. Now it's just all down to Beat. 7 seconds left, and Hasib will get that headshot. Once again, we will see RushB fighting back, winning the round on defense. And Jittery, for a while there, he was, let's just say he was stuck with the Legion Goo mine. So, and also he was very much afraid on the Solarium Stairs, because that's exactly where MI7 was playing at that time. But man, very close round. But RushB, I'm glad that they've recovered it. Basement, Vine Cellar, and Snowmobile Garage will be the site. Interestingly, Hunters, I actually didn't see Hunters pick Basement, Vine Cellars. So this will be an interesting one to see how Hunters will proceed on their attack in the site.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
That is the question, isn't it? All things considered, it was a bit of an awkward attack from the Hunters. They got that first kill onto the Rook. Ion went down, but then as soon as Rattler went down, it kind of felt like they didn't really know how to proceed. And after that, they lost a couple of the bodies. They did take a couple of RushB bodies as well, but it just wasn't enough. And their presence on the map diminished very, very quickly. Now, Chalet, attackers on Chalet generally have like a good amount of pressure that they can, force onto the defenders without having to do too much, I would argue. And that, of course, comes down to how their initial droning and clearances go. And generally, they're able to pull it off, especially a team like Hunters are able to pull it off with a good amount of consistency. However, in that round, I think losing Rattler was one of the big things that they needed to avoid, sort of. Rattler probably was supposed to be like a frontman for the push, maybe even going in for vertical play, whatever have you. Right now, we're going to have a breach, but that breach is going to be an attempt, like the breach is going to be attempted to be thwarted by Kaid tricking. Oh, the second EMP used at the perfect time right there will allow for the Snowmobile Garage to get blown wide open. But here's Rattler on Trench Door by himself. Interesting play right here and decision making from the Hunters, but let's see where it goes.
Yeah, this could be a risky one, but for Hunters, risks is definitely what will secure the map point for on map number 2 Chalet. At this point, they still have to worry about Taha, because he is just creating so much lines of sight, roaming towards the entire first floor site itself. So unless and until, hunters have any ideas on securing wine cellar site, pretty sure they have no other choice but to engage in these frontal gunfights. They're playing, one's playing in kitchen, the other playing in bar. You still have Malusi roaming around the second floor site. The only player who is currently inside is the yokai drone Hasib. So they'll just heavily rely on those information drones. And now currently hunters are just, I think they're still droning at the moment. Yeah, they're still droning. They're still trying to hack some of the gadgets that they have at the moment. The clutch drone must have, yeah, I think Beat has already secured 3 important utilities, and there you go. The first frag will be made. It will be Jittery securing things off. There goes MI7. Now they need to be very careful going down, but wait a minute, Silence is already half control on the side. They're going for the front. Taha, he needs to go back safely, but no, Silence, he actually gets it. Post plant it is, and now tension starts to brew around from RushB's end because it is post plant. Only 30 seconds, push will be made, but Taha doesn't have proper information on Jittery's whereabouts. 2v4, 1v4, it's all up to Hasib. Hasib doesn't have his yokai drone. There's a long angle being played. The shots will be made, but it will be Sandy securing the final headshot and also securing LCQ point for Hunters.
Series point and match point for the Hunters has been secured, which means they now have many rounds to, well, finally finish things off. Pause has been requested from Hasib right there, and a pause shall be granted, of course. But right now we are just waiting to see what is in store from RushB, because they have 4 rounds of some of the best Siege they have played this year and probably across all the years so far to play right now. And they have to go at it round by round. They cannot afford to get ahead of themselves. They cannot afford to think too far into the future, because if they do, they'll lose sight of what's in front of them and unfortunately stumble and fall. Ready confirmations coming in from both sides, so it seems like the pause was a short one. We'll be going in just a second, folks. Don't you worry. Hunters, in the meanwhile, they can bask in, well, I wouldn't say bask, not yet, but they can, just sort of breathe a little bit easier. Not entirely, of course. They haven't won it just yet, as they say. It ain't over till it's over. And until that victory screen comes in, Hunters are not declared the winners. Not just yet. And we've seen RushB make massive comebacks before. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for RushB to return from what literally seems like their grave. They are pretty much 75% into the coffin right now. But it's not done yet. They are not done yet. Round number 9, folks. What could be the last round of this matchup is now in play. We have once again Hunters on the attack. The Brava is in, with Beat bringing in that operator. Of course, wonderful to see Brava getting a lot of play as well. And given the kind of operator that she is, oh, never mind. I was about to go on a tangent describing Brava's ability and all that, but okay, it's fine, Beat. I don't mind at all. I actually don't. I'm just kidding. But the Nomad is still a pretty good pick. With that said, action phase has started. We are in first floor bar, and folks, here we go.
Here we go. Match point 6-2 Hunters. 1 round away of securing the spot on LCQ alongside with Shaheen's Lead Esports. Man. And also, how can I forget? Elevate. And those are like top tier teams in SEAs. And boy, oh boy, we're going to see Hunters or, Hunters, having the spot in the LCQ. But RushB, they're not out of the game just yet. Just because it's 2-6 doesn't mean that they're not going to, just give up this round that easily. They have to win 4 defensive rounds back to back, and they have to go through hell and back in order for them to secure this map on OT. A difficult one, but still, it's possible. It's difficult, but it's still possible. RushB could secure this, but they have to be very careful. I believe there's a cooked nade being made from Rattler's end. I saw his slither of him towards first floor kitchen site, I believe, but No, he's just all the way towards upstairs. He knows that one of them is playing corner side towards the library. Cooked nade, will that bounce? Yes, it does. Catches off
Oh,
MI7 off guard just like that. That is what I call simple geometry. If you can't do a cooked nade from below, you can just use the blocks from the top side and just make it
Or-
bounce.
Or, or just call Rattler Walter.
Ding,
Cooked.
ding.
Aha! Or
Oh man.
I was gonna say Wattler to sort of mix both names,
Yeah.
but that didn't sound
Yeah.
good to me, so I just said just
I'm,
you get
I'm
the
pretty.
point.
I'm pretty
Breaking
sure.
Bad references in 2023.
I'm
folks.
pretty sure Heisenberg might knock out to our doorways and say my name.
Well, we won't. Not right now. We're gonna say
No.
Rattler's name instead, as he was the one to get that opening kill. And wait a minute, he's already in here. Gets a second. Could even go for a third right now if he finds himself in that position. Needs to watch the entry. There is a defender out there. That's the Mira down. Triple kill for Rattler. He's on for the ace. No, Jittery gets the fourth player instead, but it's a 1v5. All down to thin. The last one standing. Rattler catches his fourth, and Hunters catch themselves a ticket to the last chance qualifiers for Blast R6 Asia League. Folks, what a performance from the Hunters. A double 7-2 victory as RushB can only look on and unfortunately not be able to move into that next stage. RushB, they gave it a shot, they gave it an honest shot, but it simply was not to be. Hunters LFO are your winners tonight. They will go to the finals of the Blast R6 South Asia Open Qualifiers finals, and they have secured themselves a spot in the last chance qualifiers for the Asia League. And with that said, folks, they have to wait for their opponents, of course. That is the match between Stack and One Stop Peaking. Of course, make sure to follow all the appropriate channels to know the brackets and so on and so forth. Who's gone on to where, which team wins that second matchup, and which team will join Hunters and Shaheens as the third team for the LCQ. But I do have to say, a fantastic match was played today. If only for RushB, it simply wasn't their night.
Yeah, but that is unfortunate for RushB. Still feel bad about it, but yeah, when it comes to having the spot at the LCQ, you got to do what you have to do, and yeah, it's unfortunate that they had to go down like that. But please, RushB, don't get disheartened. Sometimes we always have our bad days, but I'm pretty sure at the next future tournaments that we might expect, it's going to be even much more tougher, and hopefully we might be able to see that in the next series. But for now, they'll just congratulate the side of Team Hunters as they will take the spot to the last chance qualifiers. Congratulations to Hunters LFO. If you guys are wondering about the second match that's happening between Team One Stop Peaking versus Stack, One Stop Peaking has secured map number 1 on border 7-4. So currently One Stop Peaking has secured their first map, and I believe the second map where One Stop Peaking will be defending has to be in towards Oregon, interestingly enough. So map number 2 is currently it's starting off right now, and Won't Stop Peaking has already secured one, which means Stack are facing major issues. So Stack are unless and until Stack wins it on map Oregon, we could see map number 3. But all in all, we just have to wait and watch. But we already have our first team heading towards LCQ. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Team Hunters LFO.
And with that, I do believe we are at the finish line for tonight. So, folks, a great thank you for joining us on this little community stream. And thank you, Bullet, for having myself and Baba. It was a pleasure to cast the match.